Yes, we are live.
Hey everybody, this is Basu here. Welcome to another webinar from Enna Jury along with Care Northeast Foundation. We have a very special guest today, and I am personally super excited because he's from the tech field, and I have been working on that field since my undergrad. So it's personally a super interesting webinar for me. I'll just start off with a little bit about our speaker. So we have Ratnadeep Bhattacharjee with us. He is the co-founder of Tech Variable. So it's a startup based in Guwahati. And we'll dig a little bit deeper into it. But before that, I'll just give a brief introduction of Enajori as well as Care Northeast Foundation. So Enajori is a non-platform non-profit oh my god Enajori is a non-profit platform to engage and promote various kinds of social initiatives and are striving for social change, leadership, as well as entrepreneurship in Assam as well as the Northeast. During the course of the last couple of months, we have been organizing webinars and inviting speakers who have been engaged in some initiatives working for the betterment of society. And the aim is to create a network of change makers in the Northeast. About Care Northeast Foundation, so it's basically an NGO that is working in waste management. And the main aim is specifically to be focusing on creating jobs, zero waste schools and college campuses. We generally have Sanjay from Care Northeast usually hosting this event, but I have hijacked it from him today so that we can have Ratnadeep with us. And now going back to Ratnadeep, I'll start with a brief introduction. So he is a tech entrepreneur and co-founder of a tech solutions company called Tech Variable. It's based in Guwahati. So a little bit about Ratnadeep. He is an alumnus of GIMT Guwahati as well as his MTech degree is from NIT Warangal. Um, his startup Tech Variable has, in a very short time, been able to garner clients from all over the globe, which is great. Congratulations on that. And I think today what we have on the agenda is that we want to learn a little bit about the life of an entrepreneur, what kind of motivated him, his company, and the impact of COVID really on managing a startup, which is really in its nascent stage right now. So welcome, Ratnadeep.
Hi, hello.
And then, so can we start off with a little bit about you? I know I said some things, but I'm sure I also missed a lot. So would you please start off with an
Sure.
introduction, your background?
Yeah, sure. So, as you said, right, I finished my master's from NIT Warangal. Let me start off from there. So, since starting, not starting, since the second year of my master's degree, I I was not interested in doing a 9 to 5 job per se. Okay, I was always interested in doing something of my own. So even during my masters, especially during the second year, when the placements and everything were in vogue at that time in the campus. I was in fact doing an internship in a French R&D company called Valio Private Limited. It was based in Chennai. So I was in Chennai at that particular point of time. So few of my friends were also there with me who were doing masters. Who were my batchmates. So, during discussions and stuff, we used to say that, especially I used to say that I'm not interested. And there were a few others who were also not interested in taking up any job, working under an authority kind of thing, But, the same cliches that, entrepreneurs use. But yeah, but that was in fact a very significant part of the second year of my master. So, in fact, three or four of us actually got together and devised a plan as to what we are going to do after we get out of here. Although we are almost pretty sure that we were going to get offered the particular company, but we were not sure whether we should join or not.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so uh, 1 year, cut to 1 year later, let's say. So I had to come back to Assam because of some personal reasons. When I came back to Assam, the plans that were devised those plans had collapsed. Everyone joined different companies as graduate engineers and R&D specialists. I was also offered, but I had to come back, as I said, right. So when I came back to Assam, it is very difficult to first of all to live in a city like Assam. I'm not originally from Guwahati, so I'm from Nagaon. So to live in a city like Guwahati, at least you need bread and butter, right? So I had to take up a part-time job. I joined a coaching institute which coaches GATE students. So I was a part-time uh, guest teacher for a few
Mhm.
subjects. Uh, but this thing was constantly there. That is why I was not ready to take up a permanent job. I was not even preparing myself for any other exam like UPSC, APSC, or these type of things, right?
Mhm.
So what happened during that period, I actually happened to meet one of my old friend who is actually Tech Variables co-founder now. So he was also looking for a place to stay, and I was also looking for a place to stay. So we got together and rented a place and
Mhm.
started staying, and talking about different stuff. He was actually working in TCS, and he actually left his job and was also looking to start off something of his own. Okay.
Mhm.
So we basically started talking, started discussing things, and starting putting our head together, putting our heads together, and discussing many different things actually. But finally, he had a plan, he had a product in mind. So we started using that as a starting point. The idea that I had required a, I don't know what should I say. It required a huge funding. Let's say, like it
Mhm.
would like crores of funding. And so at that point of time, no one would be able to give us that. So probably we thought we should we start off small and then aim for the bigger one later. So yeah. So my co-founder Nilotpal had a idea in mind, had a product in mind. In fact, our other co-founder Utpal was also on board with him in that idea. Okay, and uh, till then actually I didn't know Utpal as closely as I knew Nilotpal. So then things started to flow. We started talking. Then we formed a company. We registered ourselves in November 2015, and then things started to flow. I guess yeah. So Tech Variable was born because of what should I call it? Because of three heads getting together with different plans and then coming to a, I don't know, single point of focus, I guess.
Great, I guess. Right people at the right place at the right time, kind of a
Yes,
situation
yes,
there.
right, exactly.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about what the idea is and what tech variable is all about.
Sure. So when we initially started out, we wanted to build a product for college and school campuses. Okay, it was kind of a omni-channel thing where every aspect of the every aspect of an education institute could be taken care of. But
Mhm.
after visiting many schools and colleges, and after visiting many places, we kind of realized that this is not going to work. Okay. And then also, I kind of forgot to mention like the reason behind us, being so interested in opening up a tech solutions company in Assam, where the success rate of a tech solutions company is not as high as probably some other domain.
Mhm.
So, when Nilotpal and Utpal were working in TCS, both of them were working in TCS. Okay, Nilotpal was in TCS. He was in Delhi, and Utpal was in Mumbai, and I
Mhm.
was in Chennai working in the R&D company, as I've already mentioned, right? So while we were working there, we kind of felt that we met many people from Assam, right? Even they met various, not just from TCS, they met various people from multiple
Mhm.
tech companies in Mumbai and Delhi. And also we had friends in Bangalore. I used to visit Bangalore from Chennai quite a lot.
Mhm.
So we kind of realized that these people, deep down, who wouldn't want to stay back in their motherland, right? given the proper opportunity and given the proper platform. So we kind of realized that, since the opportunities are not available in Assam,
Mhm.
they good resources tend to, not I won't call them resources, good talent tend to go to, places like Bangalore, Chennai, Delhi, Mumbai, these kind of places to look for good opportunities. So we kind of thought that, okay, probably if we can be patient enough and think of building something, probably Assam is the place we should aim for. Initially, it won't. Initially, we won't be able to scale as much as probably other companies in Bangalore or Chennai. But yeah, slowly but surely we will reach there if we are really at it. So yeah, so actually the burning desire for Utpal and Nilotpal primarily was that aspect, and for me it was probably always doing something of my own.
Mhm.
So and then we started Tech Variable. We started very small. We started from, in fact, the place where me and Nilotpal were staying. Right, we started our office from there itself. So we started visiting colleges and schools, and things didn't pan out, as I said. Like, we were not happy with the response and thing. Probably our product was not as powerful as we initially thought.
Mhm.
Looking at hindsight now.
Mhm.
So what we did is we started getting in touch with our network and things, like we started out a company, please help us out and things, as many entrepreneurs do, I believe.
Mhm.
We actually got a big break when the owner of Network Travels, I guess everyone has heard about Network Travels. The owner of Network Travels actually came to us and said that, not just came to us, we got his reference through someone we knew, and then
Mhm.
he referred our company. Like, he said that we are, there's this young bunch of people who have started a company in Assam and they are looking for good work. So,
Mhm.
and then he called us, and we visited his office at Paltan Bazar, and then we started talking. He was, at that period of time, Network Travels was purely manual. Like, everything was manual, everything was paper based. So
Mhm.
he wanted to uh, modernize his business, basically. So, like,
Mhm.
he wanted to start it out by modernizing his ticketing system initially, and then go forward from there.
Mhm.
So we got going. We started talking with various stakeholders, and then we started, things fell in place. I would say, and then he agreed to work with us, and then we started working, and then delivered the application, and then he was happy, and then Tech Variable actually took its shape, took whatever it is right now. I would say it started there.
Mhm.
So we started building a team, and then we started looking for local projects, things like that. But what happened was, it was very difficult. The one of the most difficult things that we experienced was, we were finding it difficult to find clients in Assam, or
So, yeah.
yeah, Northeast, let's say. And then, so what we did was, we started exploring outside, not just to Assam, but outside India.
Mhm.
So we started networking with people from outside India, and then, it took about a year or so, but we
Mhm.
eventually got good leads, and we in fact closed a very big deal in 2017, which actually kickstarted our company. Through the that project ran for about 2 years, and
Mhm.
we could form a big team around that project, and then we took up other projects as well. We have had clients from Denmark, uh,
Mhm.
Malaysia, Singapore, primarily from US, but on these places as well. So yeah, so this is how things took shape, I guess. So if I have to tell you what Tech Variable does is, right. So Tech Variable is basically I would call it a digital transformation company, which is involved in full stack software development services, like web development, mobile application development, data analytics, this kind of things.
Mhm. Mhm.
We have clients all over the world. Our team is a young team, very young team, in fact, and all of them are local talents.
Yep.
So we have also been able to bring people from outside Assam to come and get settled here in Guwahati. We'll be offering you a
That's
good platform,
interesting.
and we'll be offering you a stable job and things. So yeah, we have been uh, we have been partially successful in doing that, but yeah, long way to go, I guess.
Course, yeah. Now that's a very interesting story. One follow-up question. So I have seen a lot of people like when they talk about startups, especially on the tech side, I guess people tend to go to bigger cities, like for example, say a Bangalore or a Mumbai, maybe Hawaii has a big startup hub, I guess. And one of the main reasons is probably the network and the mentorship that you would receive as young people who don't really know what your next steps should be. Since you were in Assam, how did you manage to do that? I mean, I don't think Assam has a huge network of entrepreneurs based in Guwahati, but what was your connections and how did you actually leverage your network?
Okay, so to start off, I was from NIT Warangal. Mm, Nilotpal and Utpal were alumnus of Assam Engineering College. All of us were from the same batch basically. They did
Mhm,
this first right after engineering. They worked in TCH, right? But I went
mhm,
for masters in IT Warangal.
mhm, mhm,
So I we had a so Nilotpal and Utpal they had a good network as far as their Assam Engineering College alumnus is concerned, right? And as
mhm.
far as I'm concerned, I had good network as far as the NIT Warangal is concerned.
Right.
And then when we of course things don't pan out just because of your network, right? You
Mhm,
have to also go beyond that. So we also started using platforms like LinkedIn.
mhm.
So LinkedIn is actually something that we actively use for growing our network.
Connections. Mhm,
Yeah, growing
mhm,
our network. And we also made sure that whoever referred anyone to us, or whoever had asked us to talk to anyone, we made sure that we did that in a very professional way, so that
mhm,
um, once you talk to someone, the person should make we needed to make sure that the person really remembered us, like.
mhm.
So
Yep.
yeah, we made sure that we did that right from the
Mhm,
initial days.
mhm,
And yeah, LinkedIn is something that we've been using quite a lot actually. This is something
mhm.
like 70 to 80% of our network has been built through LinkedIn.
That's interesting. I think you guys have like really actively kind of did follow-ups and things like that. So I mean, that's a great way to build your network if you do that. Like, but I think the main thing to really focus here is that you are at it, right? It doesn't happen very fast, and I think
Yeah.
that's something that people need to remember about entrepreneurship or about doing a startup. That you have to have that conviction, definitely. Um, Tell us a little bit about your team. So you said you have hired locally. You also have people coming in from outside. How would you rate Assam's talent situation? Do you think we have enough people, enough good people?
I believe so. So
Mhm,
I believe there is no dearth of talent in Assam. Frankly speaking, we don't have to look outside of Assam to get talents, because, as I said, all of our talents are from Assam. Okay.
mhm,
The only thing that we lack right now is probably a good finishing school.
mhm,
Uh, you see, there is a huge gap between uh, what the kind of curriculum that an institute has, and the kind of work that an industry needs from an employee, let's say, from a future
very good point.
employee,
Yes.
right?
Mhm,
So there's
mhm,
a huge gap. So there has to be a finishing school. See, whenever a company hires a fresher, right? At least, of course, they would train them, but at least they should be of the level at that particular period of time that they can be trained properly,
yes.
right?
Mhm,
Uh, so yeah, there is no dearth of talent, of course. Otherwise, our company would have shut, right? So,
mhm,
what I would say is there is no dearth of talent, but yeah, I guess this is a business opportunity for someone here, listening to this. We need a very good finishing school here in Assam.
mhm.
Like, probably institutes can take that up,
Yep,
but
definitely. Yeah.
I don't know how this is going to get done. We have been trying our level best through our tiny bit of effort that we have been doing in terms of
Yep.
training students. But it's very difficult to get good and ready candidates right
Mm-hmm.
out of college. That is one
Mm-hmm.
thing that we really, really have to work on in Assam,
Mm-hmm. I think,
especially on the tech front.
no, definitely. I think I totally agree. And I was actually thinking about this before speaking to you today. Um, in India, like the big IT companies, right? They have this 6 month training course once you join, or like this 3 month training course, which is a complete waste of time, to be honest, right? I mean, especially once you have graduated, you should be directly able to go and at least work under someone. Like some, obviously there will be someone to guide you, but there shouldn't be like a schooling again inside your job. So that
Yes.
should ideally be not present. And I think the reason we have that is because the institutes do not have that kind of tailored it in their curriculum. They really focus on the tactical side of things, very much on the tactical side of things, and not really strategy or professionalism and things like that. So I think that's a huge gap, to be honest. And yeah, I mean, anything that we can do about it. I mean, I definitely think internships, like right from your second or third year in engineering or whatever degree you are doing, could help, but I don't think we have that kind of culture in India right now. So anything that institutes can probably do about it would be beneficial.
Yeah, also, I think another important aspect that institutes can probably work on and would really help the students is, giving them good projects, in collaboration with the industry. So
Yes.
I guess institutes should invite industries to, especially for the third and fourth year students, especially for the projects that they do. The fourth year students, in fact, do a year long project, right? So if they do a project which gets them ready for the things ahead,
Mm-hmm.
like
Mm-hmm.
it would really help. I mean, so if it would also help the college to um, uh, college or the institute to display that our students could do industry standard projects. So
Mm-hmm.
for the industry it would be easier to hire people up, right?
Yep.
Because since you have been working with that particular group for a period of time, let's say 12 months,
Mm-hmm.
you kind of would know like their strengths and weaknesses, and then it would be easier for you to hire people. I mean, this is one
Mm-hmm.
suggestion that I always have. I don't know why this has not yet been done in India. I mean, in some places probably it has been done. I'm not sure it has been done in Assam.
Yeah, I guess some like super expensive colleges might do that, but again, I think it's very monetary driven at this point. But another point I feel is that being stuck to your curriculum, right? I think the new national education policy will try to change it, but as far as we are concerned, or what we did, or what even students are doing right now, you just only do subjects that you choose in your first or second year. Suppose you are in electrical engineering, you have very limited exposure to coding, which kind of, even if you don't have a pure tech job nowadays, I think it's super important to know or understand what it could do, what the potential is. So I guess that kind of really hampers students quite a bit, because at the end of the day, software is the biggest job provider today, and you come up from a field where you did never like did a line of coding. So again, there is this huge 6 month learning curve for you to learn that and then go into the industry. So I think really like having that flexibility in choosing subjects, that could also go a long way, I think, and really helping. Cool. So let's come back to the pandemic. So how's it going with the COVID situation? I'm assuming you guys are still remotely working, or what is the? Mhm.
Yes, we have been working remotely.
Mhm.
So we actually decided to close our office in the month of March. In fact, even before the pandemic, pandemic had started, but even before the lockdown was declared. So we
Mhm.
closed 1 week prior to that. Assuming that something of that sort is going to happen, and
Mhm.
things were spreading. This COVID 19 was spreading like anything, like wildfire or something. So we kind of took a back seat and decided to work from home
Mhm.
for a week. But then this 1 week got extended to a month, and then from 1 month now it's been 6 months, I guess.
Yeah.
So yeah, we have been working from home.
Mhm. Did you have a issue with the transition? How do you see productivity being impacted or anything like that?
So yeah, so how, I don't know how to answer that, purely because um, initially when we started working from home, right? Everyone started working from home. For 1 month or so, we didn't see a substantial difference.
Mhm.
Okay, because we are a software development company, and most of the things happen through communication channels with
Yes.
clients as well as, so one-on-one is one-on-one interaction probably is not as much as probably in some other domains or companies, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that thing really helped, but gradually we start to realize that it's very difficult to run a company if you don't have one-on-one interaction.
Mm-hmm.
uh, Also, there tends to be silos of work happening in different places. You don't get a complete picture of whatever is happening within the company.
Mm-hmm.
Also, strategically you tend to get stagnant with your approach, because there are only few things you can do when you are working remotely, and you don't have people working around you to offer up ideas at any point of time. Although you have different communication channels, of course people will be saying that, I know there are communication channels why you're facing such an issue, but there are some problems which cannot be solved through communication channels. You need one-on-one interactions. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
this is something that we have been struggling with a bit for the past 1.5 2 months. But what we have done right now is we kind of make sure that there is someone within the team who constantly keeps on talking to different project owners, different project developers, so that to at least apprise them of whatever we as a management or a company are thinking of strategically, as well as how we can keep them motivated and things like that. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
we have been doing a conscious effort on that front, but still,
Mm-hmm.
this is still work in progress. Probably we are hoping that we can start off really soon.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, the employees have been, for the past 1 month or so, they've been asking us, in fact, when are we going to open up. It's getting very difficult in it's getting very difficult working in the same place. It's getting kind of boring for us as well.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
let's see what
Mm-hmm.
happens. So it's
Will you
challenging,
have?
yeah.
Yes, definitely. I think so. The question of opening up. So, how do you plan to prioritize employee safety? I'm sure you'll have strategies in place, maybe staggered shifts or whatever. I mean, you must have thought
So
about it.
we don't have a strategy as of now, because we have not yet zeroed in on a particular date. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But whenever we start, yeah, of course we will have strategies in place. Probably we won't be we, there will be kind of a roster system that we'll be following.
Mm-hmm.
And in fact, we won't even be calling up all the people. Probably 30% of the workforce or something
Mm-hmm.
of that sort will
Mm-hmm.
be there.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, proper sanitization will be done.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Makes sense.
those,
Yeah. And it's a like fluid, fast-moving situation, right? You don't know what happens next, so it's
yeah, yeah,
obviously
yeah.
yeah, yep, difficult to like have concrete plans in place as
Yeah,
of
yeah.
now. I
That's
think
we
there are
have been
just so
planning
many.
to, exactly. We had planned to open our offices in the month of June. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
but then again there was a lockdown.
Yeah.
So this time we decided, let us really be careful before deciding anything.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Um, Another thing, like vacations. I mean, I think that is something that people across the board have been reporting that employees have stopped taking vacations because they obviously don't have anywhere to go, and that's ultimately impacting their mental health. They are just, constantly in work. Do you see like that kind of fatigue setting in your employees, and how is that?
Probably it already has,
Mm-hmm.
but until unless you meet people, you won't understand the kind of fatigue that they are facing.
Mm-hmm.
Some Probably in some cases people are really enjoying working from
Yeah.
home. In
Mm-hmm.
some cases probably it has been difficult, and they have been fighting to get out of this situation.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
it's very difficult,
Yeah.
very difficult to gauge this situation.
Yeah, and I think it's also different for different people. Like home situation also dictates a lot, right?
Yes,
Like if you're
yes.
staying alone, maybe you're fine, like working remotely. But if you have kids at home, that's a different story altogether. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely like uh, not the same for everyone. Great. So, tell me about your projects and your clients and how are they reacting to this pandemic? Because there also has been a lot of cancellations in projects. Companies have stopped prioritizing a lot of their long-term focuses. But like again, in the tech sector, it's not that bad because they have also started accelerating their digitization plans just because of what happened and how important tech is right now. So. Um, how do you see an impact on your clients or how you guys have been operating so far?
So there are two answers to it. Mm, uh, on one side, there have been, mm, we have clients. I mean, still, there are clients who are still fighting in this situation. They, I won't name the clients that I'm talking about. There are clients still who are fighting to, uh, who are fighting, and along with them, we are also fighting to, get the payments. You
Mm-hmm.
know, let's say the 4 or 5 months of payment is still pending at
Mm-hmm.
their end, and for a startup like us, it's a burden. It's a huge burden.
Mm-hmm.
On the other hand, opportunities have increased. I would say that opportunities have increased, you know, by quite a margin, I would say. So yeah, as you said, people are actively thinking of modernizing their businesses, digitizing
Mm-hmm.
their traditional workflows. Um, yeah, on that front, I would say opportunities and leads have been coming up more than whatever the usual scenario is.
Mm-hmm.
Mm, so it's a balance, I would say. Right
Yep.
now, it's a balance. But yeah, opportunities are there, and that is the reason we are actively hiring now. I mean, we have been trying
Mm-hmm.
to get people to come and join our team for quite a while now. But unfortunately, we have not been able to find good talents yet. But yeah, I'm hopeful that for next 1 or 2 months, we will definitely be able to, get hold of some great talents.
Well, I think that's really great to know that you guys are hiring even during this pandemic. I mean, I look at LinkedIn and it's just horror stories, right, of people being laid off and people looking for jobs. And I think if you guys have found a way in a very new startup to still operate and hire people, I think that's great. So
Yeah, in
okay,
fact,
that
in
is
fact, unlike other companies, we have not done a salary cut for anyone,
Mhm.
and also we have not asked anyone to, resign or you know put
Mhm.
put put papers up.
Mhm.
Uh, we have also not asked anyone to leave. So yeah, that way, I would say we have taken care of the employees as much as is possible. Probably even I wouldn't talk about the sacrificial part of thing, like every founder has to go through those situations while running
Mhm.
a company, not just
Mhm.
because of the pandemic. It can happen to any other company for any other situation. So yeah, we
Mhm.
we have tried to take care of our employees, and we will do that. I mean, uh, as I said, right, our motto is to make sure that stability is something that we really really take seriously as far as employees are
Mhm.
concerned. So yeah, this is one thing that we really really try hard to make sure that everything, as far as employees are concerned, nothing is unstable. They can work
Mhm.
freely from their workplace without worrying about the financial part or financial stability.
Mhm. And that's a very interesting point. I understand that you guys have not gone through like the traditional route of funding, right? So you do not really have some big institutional investors. And do you think that has given you the flexibility to prioritize employees more than like say a company? Generally, venture capitalists do have a lot of influence on how a startup works and how things go. So what do you feel about that? Do you
Interesting,
think you have more
interesting,
control?
interesting question. Yeah. because I don't know. I mean, frankly speaking, I have we have not yet gone for funding, nor do I think we will ever go for funding. Being a service company, I think it's very difficult to um, it's very difficult to approach someone for funding, let's say, as a service company, right?
Mhm.
Mm, so I think, yeah, probably because there are no we are not answerable to anyone. I don't
Mhm.
want to be cocky and say that we are not answerable to anyone. Of course, we are answerable to each other. We're running a company, but I would say that, yeah, probably that is one factor, and and yeah, funding is something that I don't think we'll ever be going for.
Mhm. So, can you give us a little insight on how you actually started your company? Then, was it your own private funding that you all pooled together? And I'm just asking this just to let people know that it's possible, right? You don't always need big institutional backing to start a company. So, if you can shed some light on that.
Yes, I don't think to start off a software development company, I can only talk about a software development company, right? I don't know how others operate. Probably for not for all companies, but most of the companies they would require some kind of funding to start. But
Yeah,
for software
machineries
development,
and stuff.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So for software development companies like us, I don't think we require a huge amount of funding. Probably you can start off from a single room with two laptops in
Hmm.
hand and get going. So this is
Hmm.
how simple it is.
Hmm.
Probably, yeah, paperwork and stuff would actually demand some attention as far as some amount of money would have to be invested on that front, but I don't think we need a huge amount of investment. So yeah, private we started off by whatever we could gather, we started with that. So yeah.
Yeah, great to know that. And curious, I'm blanking out right now. Actually, I'll go to the Assam's startup environment. And my question was actually a follow up. So you say it's not super difficult, right, to start a software solutions company in terms of funding. Obviously, you need people, obviously, who are motivated enough to work and all of that. But what do you think is keeping people back from doing it more? Um, I don't hear a lot of stories, especially in Assam. Obviously, we have a lot of people doing that in Bangalore or places like that. But do you think it's just lack of knowledge in a lot of places? Like people don't even think in that direction, and entrepreneurship is just not a career option for a lot of people. So, or how would you put it?
So, are you talking about entrepreneurship per se, or are you talking about like why are people not opening up tech companies in Assam?
I would say tech companies, entrepreneurship per se is, I think, a very
Yeah.
broad topic. So sticking to tech, yeah.
So see, as I said, right, it's difficult to. Um, so let's start from the beginning. Like when I was a student, when I was doing my engineering and then was in my final year, I didn't want to stay back in Assam, frankly, honestly, because yeah, the opportunities that I was getting from Assam were not as lucrative as probably the opportunities that I was getting from places like Bangalore,
Mhm.
Chennai,
Mhm.
Kolkata, even Kolkata. So
Right.
uh, so that is an important factor. See,
Hmm.
if that is the mindset, and if this is the scenario that you are facing as a final year student, of course you would be wanting to go to some other
Yeah.
place and
Yeah.
explore and learn probably, right? So one thing that is really pegging back or not motivating people enough to start off a tech solutions company in Assam is probably uh, the fear that they won't be able to get enough talents here.
Hmm.
And secondly, also, mm, uh, I would say that nowadays the infrastructure is better, I guess. As let's say, if I talk about 3 or 4 years back, the infrastructure. If I have to talk about if I have to open a startup, software development company, right? you need to have good internet infrastructure. Infrastructure has to be in place, and I don't think it was as good as it is right now.
Yep,
Now it
definitely.
now Yeah, now it has improved a lot. I mean, by leaps and bounds, but still a
Mm-hmm.
long way to go. But then again, it has improved a lot. Okay,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
so that is another aspect.
Mm-hmm.
Thirdly, I believe is, I don't know, probably you have to be constantly motivated by an unknown force. I don't know, and there have been times in our company as well where we could have, we should have, you know, shut shop, but we didn't do it. Somehow, something within us never even allowed that inner voice to creep up and say, "Hey, just leave." No, that never happened. Never. In fact, I can be very honest with you. With the three of us, it never happened. We were like, no, no, let's get on with it. Like, let's
Yep.
just stick to it. Things just then started. Things generally fall into place if you really are patient enough.
Yep. Motivation, and it seems like you guys are really at it very, very aggressively. So great to know that. Yes. We have a question, and I actually probably didn't mention this earlier, but if anyone has questions, please feel free to type it in the chat box, and we'll monitor them. So, one question is, how has your education, mainly your master's, helped
It hasn't.
you?
So I'll
No,
tell
and I knew
you.
you would say that, but it's
Uh, I'll tell you why. It's not the typical answer that you're expecting. Okay, so I'll tell you, for the three of us, right? None of us are computer science graduates. Okay, so I did my engineering and mechanical. I did my master's in automobile engineering. Okay, Nilotpal and Utpal, they did their. Uh, Nilotpal did his engineering in mechanical. Utpal did his engineering in electrical. But now we are operating a software development company. Okay.
Mhm.
So of course, it also boils down to where you started your professional career. These two guys started in TCS, so yeah, they and Utpal was I would call him a prodigy. Like, he didn't know he was a good programmer. Let's say when he was just exploring what he was good at. So when he
Yep.
went for his job, he realized, okay, I'm really good at it. So I should have I should have done this, since I guess
First year
when
of
I was in
engineering,
school. Yeah,
yeah.
when I was in school
Yeah.
probably.
Mhm.
So yeah, and then what I would also say is that to start off a business, no, whatever you've studied, whatever, especially with the kind of curriculum that we have, it won't it I mean, I don't want to say it, but it doesn't help you as much as your professional experience does. But of
Yep.
course, you have to have a degree. Without a
Hmm.
degree, there is some knowledge. Like in engineering, there was a subject called accountancy, there was a subject
Yep.
called management. So of course, you need a degree. In fact, also, I feel college degrees are important because you get to know many things about working together, and how you can um, gel together and things like that with your
Yep.
friends and stuff, right? So there are many things you learn while you were in
Hmm.
college. But
Hmm.
but I don't think, as far as business is concerned, no, you have to be, like, most of the things are learned during your professional, uh, you know during a professional career. Let's say most of the things you start learning
Hmm.
when you start doing your first job.
Hmm. I think, yeah, I mean, I think your higher education, like, it definitely helps when you meet people from different backgrounds. I think it just expands your own ideas. And I think going out sometimes also helps just because you get a perspective which you didn't have while you were in Assam. I think for me, that was true. I didn't know a lot of things till I actually went out to do my first job. So, and that's just a reality of it,
Right.
being where we are. So, uh, next question would be, Assam's startup environment, like in terms of regulatory environment and government support. How conducive do you think it is? And is it improving since when you started?
I really don't. In fact, I cannot just come here and say that no, 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 the situation is, uh, the worst, or the situation is the best. I really don't know because I have not yet explored that route, frankly. Uh, yeah, I think digitization uh, of ease of doing business can still be improved as
Hmm.
compared to other states, but I don't think it's as bad as people say. It has improved. It has improved, not a lot, but a bit.
Hmm.
But but there is a huge scope of
Yeah.
things increasing.
Yeah.
But I won't be able to comment more on that because I have not explored too much on that front.
Fair enough. Sanjay, I understand that you have some questions. Do you want to go ahead?
Thanks, Vasu.
Hey.
Hi. Uh,
Sanjay.
Great to hear the journey that you had so far. One of the things I keep hearing, and you also said there is no dearth of talent in Assam, but somehow I've been recruiting people for my projects and also helping a couple of other companies recruit people. What I realized, it is true that there is no dearth of talent, but this talent is mostly outside Assam. So I always get a reference. The guy is from Assam or the girl is from Assam, but currently in Delhi or in Bangalore or elsewhere. What can be done to make them, how do I say, make them getting interested to come back and work in Assam? Do you really and honestly think that the ecosystem in Assam is good enough, particularly when you are working with the government projects? This is where a lot of jobs are also there, and I'm not saying that there are no jobs in private sector. What else the ecosystem in Assam? So if you can throw us some light on that, and I will ask the second question, which is more like what can be done to a project which I am running. So maybe this question first, and then I will ask the next question. Thanks.
Okay, thank you for the question, Sanjay. I I don't know what can be done as far as people who want to work for government projects is concerned. But yeah, I would like to say generally, I mean, what would attract candidates to stay back in Assam or probably come back to Assam? Companies shouldn't be too profit intensive. I understand you need to do good business, you need to be profitable, yeah, but you need to also take care of your people. Your people, if you have a bunch of people who can work with you for a long period of time, for a period of 6, 7, 8 years, your profit will generally speaking, your profit will anyway shoot off the roof because same bunch of people, same you don't have to manage the knowledge, you don't have to pass on the knowledge as frequently as probably you would have if you needed to hire new people. So what I'm trying to say here is without being too profit intensive, companies should actually take care of its people, provide lucrative benefits, provide lucrative offers for candidates to stay back, right? If you do that, I understand, only the financial aspect of things won't motivate a particular uh, talent to stay back. You should also include things like, interesting projects. You should bring up interesting projects. You cannot just sit back and say that, okay, we will only do a particular type of project and be happy with it. Bring on different types of projects, understand what the team is good at, really take inputs from employees, create a culture where these guys can also attract other people. So I really believe that it's all about the culture. If you can build a good culture and really uh, make sure that the energy of the culture reaches out to the outside world, it will be easier to keep and attract more people in Assam. That is what I believe. I'm not sure if I have answered you on the government project thingy because we don't do government projects, or I personally have never wanted to work for a government project or government institution. But yeah, generally speaking, this is what I think. I hope I have been able to answer your question.
You're on mute, Sanjay.
So I'm asking, can I ask a second question if there are no?
Sure. Go ahead. Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Yeah. Uh, I'm running a waste management project, not one, but three. And we have offer up three other projects to run in Assam. One of the challenge that we face that the entire project is designed in a way that everything is manual, whether it is attendance, movement of the vehicles, fees collection, and there are a lot of holes into it. So like government projects, corruption is getting in where people collect money, don't deposit it, or they write something and they collect something. The vehicles don't move on all the way. How can this project can be technically digitalized that I know everything, whether the vehicle moved or not, whether the right amount was collected or not, whether the supervisor went to the field or not, whether the worker worked on 8 hours or not. Is there a way that you can help us kind of digitalize the entire project so that the scope of corruption reduces? And I'm saying because I'm afraid that such project often ends up getting into corruption and then eventually is dead.
Right. Uh, so I believe Sanjay, you probably uh, will have not a general idea. You will have piece by piece idea of what exactly happens where, right, in your business, in the workflow.
More or less, I would say.
Yeah. So if
More
I
or
have to if I have to ask you, like, prepare a document where you can tell me like this is how everything takes place, and I want to digitize this entire system. See,
less.
our job, see, as I said, right, we are a digital transformation company. This is exactly the kind of project that we can say we expertise in. Okay, so
Mhm.
definitely we can help you, but there is one thing uh, that we need to be really careful about while taking up these projects is there has to be one single point of contact, because if you talk with multiple stakeholders in such projects, everyone will think that how can I profit from it, or how can I make sure that I don't have to work much for it. So these are some things. So I for these kind of projects, generally what we do is we make sure that there is a single point of contact who can kind of make sure that all the information that we need can be brought to us, so that we can offer them a solution. So if you are that person, or if you know someone who can be that person, so yeah, it is definitely possible, as because this is the kind of project that we expertise ourselves in.
Thanks. I'll get back to you on this with more details.
Sure, Sanjay,
Thanks,
sure.
Ram.
Thank you, Sanjay.
It seems like we have made a great connection here already. So that's great.
Thanks. Lots of
So, no, I think we have just under like about 5 minutes left, and I will ask you a final question and then we'll wrap it up. So,
Ashu, I had a question. Ashu.
Milind, okay, yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
So, so I want to know what is your strength right now, man? How many employees do you have now?
So our strength right now is 19. We have
Okay,
19 employees.
okay. And where and how do you recruit? Do you go to colleges and recruit, or how do you recruit? Oh, it's a word of mouth.
So generally we get most of our candidates via LinkedIn, or through advertisements. Not so much through advertisements, but yeah, in rare cases we also do advertisements. uh, Campus recruitment we had started a year back. So we actually went to Tejpur University last year, and this year actually we have already started talking to colleges. Like we will, I guess, go to Assam Engineering College and Tejpur University within the next month, I guess. Yeah.
And which year did you start?
2015 November.
2015. So, I work in IT for over 25 years in US, and project management, business analyst, QA, all right. And I thought that QA is relatively easier, and was once upon a time. Now I am took divorce from my previous profession, but um, I was wanted to, that time I wanted to have a QA setup over here because if you can provide some trainings, I think anybody, many people can do QA. I think for that matter, many people can also do, coding and stuff like that, provided proper training was given. So would love to connect and see if there is ways that we can collaborate in the future. Specifically because I lived in so many years in Minneapolis and I had contact. I did consulting over there. And my other question was that like there's other companies like Jaloni, there's another company called Third Eye, you know, ASME's own or co-own a company who with US tie-up, basically main office in the US or stuff like that. So did you ever think of collaborating? Because sometime, maybe they got the project, but you can subcontract certain areas and stuff like that. Because I think collaboration will help for you also to grow. It may be like overall creating more IT job, because quite a lot of time I have heard many people who want to come back work for Wipro, or in Bangalore they want to come back, they don't have job in Assam. So I think you know if you have connected or thought about that way of collaborating with some of the companies owned by SME or
Yes, actually we do that. This is, as I said, right, this is one model that we have been constantly following for the past 3 years now.
sure.
So this is actually how we get most of our work.
Okay, okay. And do you have expertise in data, what do you call, data analytics, or, you know, data mart and stuff like that? Do
Yes,
you have any project?
we do machine learning, data
Yeah.
analytics, these kind of things. Yeah.
Okay. And the last question, the last 2 years since I came back and we're trying to work here, I really have problem in finding people who are accountable and who, and good at time management. They will say, yep, we'll see you at 8 o'clock, that become 10 o'clock, then become 12 o'clock, then become 2 o'clock. Do you face those problems? Because, you know, I wonder how do you get things done over here sometime, because it's so difficult. So I just would like to know your advice, or how do you get, those quality people?
No, same here. I mean, we constantly fight, right? We constantly fight to make sure that this thing doesn't happen, but it happens. I mean, you have to constantly make sure that you create an environment where people are really accountable. If they are not, it's not something that we will be facing issues for. They will be someone who will have problems if they are not accountable, so we create that kind of an environment. So generally it works, but of course there will be some um, there will be someone within the group always who you cannot trust, who you cannot you know expect accountability. So yeah, those things happen, but you have to anyway make sure that you understand the core strength of each and every individual of the member of the team, right? So we work that way. Some people may not be good with time, but they're very good with their work. Probably we give them that leeway to make sure that okay, if you're working, we'll make sure that you're not facing the client, but you are only working. So at least you deliver quality work to us. So yeah, we kind of do mix and match of everything and make sure it works as a team.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Wish you all the best, and we'll
thank you,
connect.
Milind. Thank you so much.
Does anyone else have any question? Okay. No, I mean, this is a great point that actually Milind brought up about people who have ties to the United States opening up things in Assam. And I think Milind and Sanjay, just to let you guys know, I think I wanted to really get to Ratnadeep because he is not one of those people. He has had his education in Assam. He was obviously in NIT Warangal for 2 years, but he has spent most of his life in Assam and really still managed to leverage his network and do something so successful. And I think that is the X factor, and that is something that I wanted to bring out to people, that you don't need fancy foreign education to always, do something different. So I think thank you so much for your time. We are, it's our 1 hour is over, but it was great connecting with you. And I hope that people who have been looking to do something different, who have been looking to start their own company, will find some inspiration from this webinar and really connect with you on LinkedIn if they want to, because seems like you're super active there too. Thank you so much again for your time.
Thank you, Vasundhara. Thank you, Team Enajari. It was great. Thank you, Priyanshu, wherever you are in the background.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you
Great.
so much.
Thank you so much.
Bye bye.
Bye, everybody. Have a good weekend.